to InstaGATOR. Long time no see. Told you I'll be right back, right? Wearing the same stuff. Like I told you, I'm not dirty, right? Literally film these back to back. There's a judgment-free zone. Do not judge me up in here, right? But we wanna jump right back in, right, to our COVID discussion from earlier. Right? I told you I wanted to kind of look at COVID from a 30,000 foot view and discuss some of the things that I learned from COVID. What I liked, which was the first part of this, and what I necessarily didn't like. And that's what we're going to cover today. As I mentioned, the good thing, the pros definitely outweigh the cons, but I felt moved to talk about some of the things that I was able to see or that were kind of uh, brought to light in my eyes that I was just like, really? Like, have you ever like watched something or read something or looked at something and you were just like, really? Really? That's what this discussion today is, right? Lessons learned from COVID. What I liked and what I didn't like. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, you know me, I don't waste no time, man. Let's go ahead and jump right on in. False prophets. All right. What I think COVID allowed some folks to do was to, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit as I look at these, right? There's going to be kind of an underarching theme to some of these. But what I saw was a lot of people trying to take advantage of the situation. People that normally weren't in the limelight and weren't in the spotlight that really tried to inject themselves out there. Although I know a lot of people found their voice during COVID, right? We even put together a little episode on finding your voice during COVID. There was a lot of what I like to call false prophets. A lot of people out there talking about situations and issues that maybe they didn't have all the knowledge and experience on, but were speaking it like it was gospel. I'm very big on misinformation, right? You can give me your opinion, you can give me your thoughts. I'll take those all day long, right? I am open and receptive to receiving those. But when you start spitting things as facts, when you start intentionally misinforming people, I have an issue, right? I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to talk about the news media. Like I don't even want to travel down that path, right? But even day-to-day situations, you started seeing that more and more often. People just really misinforming others deliberately, intentionally. That's really one of the things that I didn't like what I saw from COVID, right? One of those things, we talk about the good and the not so good. That was not so good, right? And my hope is that these individuals were seen through, right? That people saw that and that it didn't impact their lives in a negative way going forward. Again, opinions, thoughts, you throwing stuff out there as far as that goes, man, I'm all for it, man. That's how we learn. That's how we collaborate. That's how we grow. But intentionally misinforming people with what you're spewing as facts, that was a no-go. And I saw it a lot, right? Next up, absent leaders. I'll tell you what, at least for the Air Force, we have some phenomenal leaders. I mean, leaders that really did exactly what you would want to see in a crisis. They led from the front and they brought everybody with them. They were a perfect example of how to stay calm, cool, and collected in a crisis, right? They set the standard. Other leaders were not to be found. It's almost like they took this time off in quarantine and viewed it as a vacation. They unplugged. They didn't connect with their people. They didn't communicate with their people. They sure as hell didn't get out there and lead the charge from the front. They sat back, rested on their tushies, right? We're going to keep this PG. Well, I think I already said another bad word, but anyway, right? They rested on their tushies while other phenomenal leaders took the flag and marched forward, right? I 100% believe that we probably saw this in civilian organizations as well. I 100% believe that we saw this in the political realm and in the medical realm and all this other stuff, but I can only speak to what I know of, and that's the Air Force. We have gotten, I mean, I'm talking from the senior leader level all the way down to the smallest unit level. We have had phenomenal leaders step out in front of this and lead the charge. And that is how I know we will get through this successfully as an Air Force. I'm sure the same could be said for the other military services, right? But holy smokes, the absence of some leaders was staggering. And I would venture to guess, and it would only be a guess, that there were more leaders that took an absent role than there was ones that stepped out in the front, right? The ones that showed innovation, the ones that leaned forward on trying to make things happen. And the absence of leaders in this pandemic was extremely disappointing to me. That was one of the things I did not like about COVID. Next up, again, we're gonna speak primarily military, but this can be said and echoed throughout the civilian side. It amazes me that having a rank and or a position means that people will listen. Now, I say this and I'm going to be a little hypocritical, right? I am a senior leader of my organization, and with that, I understand that because I am a senior leader of my organization, the things that I say, people will kind of thumbs up, they'll champion, they'll agree with, they'll do whatever, right? And I say all these things within the same breath, knowing that just because of my rank and or position doesn't mean what I'm saying is more valuable than somebody that could be of lower rank or doesn't hold a position, right? You see this all the time on social media and all this other stuff. You know, somebody that holds a certain rank or position will say something and everybody will just, oh, that's the best thing ever, and oh. Meanwhile, regular Joe over here drops some extremely valuable knowledge, something extremely beneficial to the masses, and it falls on deaf ears. Because why should I listen? You don't hold a certain rank or position. I don't believe value comes from rank or position. I believe it comes from what you're delivering. Now, I'll say that with, also, saying that I get it. Knowledge, wisdom, and experience comes with age and it comes with rank, and people don't reach certain positions if they're not skilled in what they do. But that doesn't minimize the voices and the importance of these voices of some of our younger folks, some of our not so seasoned folks, right? And I wish I would have saw more people champion good content and not just championing ranks or positions, right? That was kind of disappointed to me, because if there's one thing I know, again, especially in the Air Force, is that some of our lower ranking airmen, big A, right? Man, they are so knowledgeable and have so much value to give, but I fear that a lot of their message falls on deaf ears because they don't hold the position of whatever people find valuable, right? So that was one of the things I saw, one of the lessons I learned that I didn't necessarily like. Next up, might catch a little heat for this one, right? 50% of what we do is pointless. That's an arbitrary percentage, right? I just throw it out there, right? But if I look at it, like most companies and organizations, like there was a lot of people that lost their jobs, right? And I really feel for that. Like our economy took a dump. It's slowly starting to recover, which I'm thankful for as we slowly start transitioning out of this and getting back to whatever the new normal looks like, right? And I really hope that the people that did struggle and suffer through this can get back on their feet, and we can take care of them as a country the way we should. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the military has been on minimum manning for probably the better part of a month and a half, 2 months. And I gotta be honest with you, we hit some bumps in the roads, but we still met mission requirements. Like, we still got the job done. We still were in the business of defending this nation. A lot of us were mission essential. Not so many of us had the ability to just stay at home for the entire 2 months, right? There's some folks that are still locked down. I understand that. But when I say things like 50% of what we do is pointless, I'm talking more on a day-to-day basis, right? One of the things I learn, and I laugh and I joke about it, is the majority of the meetings I go to, what COVID taught me, could be emails or phone calls. A 5-minute phone call could have been this hour-long meeting that I'm sitting in, right? And it amazes me that this came out of this pandemic, right? If we don't learn from this, we're kicking ourselves. We have got to look at this, no matter how bad or good it's been for people, and learn from it going forward, right? 50% of what we do, again, it's an arbitrary number. There's no way I could put a number on this, but it is pointless. Like, it slows down the process. There is so much red tape and bureaucracy in certain things that we do that it's really disappointing that we needed a pandemic to cut some of it. I have never processed more paperwork that has been quick turned and gotten back to me with signatures than I have during this, right? So it's disappointing to know that, holy smokes, why did it take a pandemic to get to this point? I hope we don't lose, the ability to quick turn things, important things that take care of our people when we come out of this, right? The pointless, mundane stuff that people just think up to keep us busy, right? That is what I don't like that I saw out of this, right? That was frustrating to me, because you sit back and you're like, why can't it be like this all the time? So as we transition back out of this and we get to full operations, at least in the Air Force, I hope a lot of these things, a lot of the fat that we cut out, I hope that stuff doesn't come back. I really hope it doesn't come back. Because I'm going to tell you what, I've gotten more accomplished for my folks that needed things because there was an emergency placed on it and everybody knew that everything had to be quick turned. Why isn't it always that way? Why do we allow these insignificant things to creep in and this red tape to creep in? If it's important, it's important. And it shouldn't have taken a pandemic for us to realize that. So that was one of the things I didn't like, which hopefully if we don't go back to it, will change into one of the things that I do like, if that makes sense. Next up, one of the things I didn't like from this, it really turned into a power grab. People kind of staking claim to what they believed was theirs. I can't tell you how many initiatives, how many innovative thoughts that I've seen people try to push forward for the right reasons and the right intent get squashed down because so-and-so over here didn't have a say in it, or so-and-so over here didn't have an approval stamp for it. Man, I got tons of people out here trying to do the right things for the right reasons and take care of people, but because you weren't in the proverbial loop, you want to kibosh it? You want to put your thumb down on it? Are you kidding me? This isn't a power grab. This isn't mine, yours. Why did it have to turn into this? No, you let it roll. You let it press. This should not have turned into a power grab. There were people that just were not willing to collaborate and work together, which completely blows my mind, because this was a perfect instance where we all needed to lean on one another. If there was not a better time to lean on one another and build connections and build relationships and collaborate than this right here, you will never see it. But we had so many people try to power grab what they believed was theirs and really kiboshed a lot of things. I'm really disappointed that we saw this. I really didn't like that lesson that was taught or that my eyes were opened up to. Last but not least, what I learned that I necessarily didn't like. The mindset or the mentality of never let a good crisis go to waste. Again, this goes right back to the other point where we should have been collaborating and being there and connecting with one another and helping one another, but I've seen so many people try to turn this crisis into profit that it makes me sick, disgusted. This is not the time to try to get up on somebody or get over on somebody or to sell a product or to do this or to do that, right? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Are you kidding me? This is the time where we should be giving, helping, especially those who weren't impacted as bad as some others were. But you mean to tell me that you are going to use this emergency, this crisis, this pandemic, where people are not only losing their lives, but losing their livelihoods, losing their jobs, not being able to provide for their families, and you want to take this and try to turn a profit on it? You can tell me that's good entrepreneurship and that's good businessman stuff all day long. Me personally, I don't buy into it. I won't buy into it. That will never be in my character. Never. Sorry. Never. Not gonna happen. Right? I cannot be more emphatic about that. I cannot be more, out of all of these, right? This is probably the one that pisses me off the most. Right? Well, I turn around and I'm scrolling through social media or I'm watching news or I'm looking at this and I got somebody using this pandemic to try to sell me something. Right? I got what? No. That's trying to keep it PG. That has got to stop. So I learned that from this pandemic, that sometimes people are going to be people, and that hurt me a little bit. That hurt my heart, and that's one of the things that I did not like about this. All right, so that was it. That's my not so good. That's the lessons learned from COVID, the ones that I necessarily didn't like. All right, false prophets, absent leaders, rank and position means people will listen. 50% of what we do, arbitrary number, is pointless, right? All the red tape and the extra stuff that we bring onto our lives, right? The power grab, folks not willing to work with one another or collaborate. And then the people that are trying to use people's vulnerability, use people's fear to turn a buck. Those are things that I did not like. So I fully hope that you watch this. I hope that you tell me some of the things that you don't like. And if this puts a sour taste in your mouth, man, go back and watch the positives out of this, because I promise you, as I said before, there are more positives than negatives out of this, right? There are more learning experiences and things I did like from COVID than that I did not like. So if you wanna get that bad, bitter taste out your mouth, man, go back and watch that first video. As always, man, smash that like and subscribe button. As always, thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate it. I understand how valuable your time is, especially during these times. And if you have any lessons learned or any things that you liked and or didn't like, man, shoot them my way, right? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Until next time, thank you so much for spending time at InstaGATOR. We will talk to you soon.